At the beginning of the 1990s, the Royal Navy was a force designed for the Cold War. The main purpose of its fleet, based around 3 small aircraft carriers and a force of anti-submarine frigates and destroyers, was to search for and if required, to destroy Euro-Soviet submarines in the North Atlantic. The 1982 Falklands War also demonstrated a requirement for the Royal Navy to maintain an expeditionary capability. Since the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the Royal Navy has been required to meet a wider range of objectives around the world, while experiencing a gradual reduction in the size of his surface fleet. Fixed-wing carrier operations ceased in 2010 with the retirement of the last Harrier GR7 per Grade 9 aircraft. This capability will not be restored until the Joint Combat Aircraft and the first Queen Elizabeth-class carrier become operational around 2020. Cuts have also seen the sale of 3 Type 23 frigates in 2005 June and the early decommissioning of 4 Type 22 frigates in 2010 November. Over the course of the 1990s and the 2000s, the Navy began series of projects to improve its fleet, with a view to providing enhanced capabilities, although many programs were reduced in scale. This has led to the replacement of smaller and more numerous units with fewer, but larger, units. The main examples of this are the replacement of 12 Type 42 destroyers with 6 Type 45s and the replacement of the 3 20,000-ton Invincible-class aircraft carriers with either 1 or 2 operational 70,600-ton Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers. There are currently 6 ships and submarines under construction, 4 Astute-class submarines and the 2 Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers, which began construction in July 2009 and May 2011. Preparatory and design work has begun on the Global Combat Ship Program, which will replace the existing frigate fleet from 2020, and 3 large ocean patrol vessels have been ordered, to be delivered from 2017. In addition, the Navy's strategic nuclear role is being extended through the Trident Successor program. Ships, aircraft carriers. A major source of naval power projection is the aircraft carrier. The one remaining ship of the Invincible class has limited capabilities, due not only to her small size, but also to the retirement in 2010 of the Harrier GR7 per Grade 9. In the 1998 Strategic Defense Review, the Ministry of Defense announced that it would replace the Invincible class with a pair of much larger vessels of the Queen Elizabeth class, in a project that was originally designated as CVF. These 2 ships, Queen Elizabeth and Prince of Wales, were ordered in 2007 and will each displace approximately 70,600 tons and be some 280 meters long, making them the largest vessels ever operated by the Royal Navy. HMS Queen Elizabeth was formally named by the Queen on July 4, 2014. They are expected to be commissioned in 2016 and 2018. The 2010 Strategic Defense and Security Review reaffirmed the government's commitment to purchasing both vessels. The review stated that the Royal Navy will only need to operate 1 aircraft carrier, routinely equipped with 12 fast jets. The other carrier was planned to be held in extended readiness, or sold. These plans will be reviewed in 2015. It was also announced at the time that the Carrier S would have catapult and arrestor gear installed to accommodate the carrier variant of the F-35 Lightning II, rather than the short takeoff and vertical landing version previously planned. The decision to convert Prince of Wales to Cateau was reviewed after the projected costs rose to around double the original estimate. On May 10, 2012, Defense Secretary Philip Hammond announced in Parliament that the government had decided to revert to its predecessor's plans to purchase the F-35B rather than the F-35C, and to complete both aircraft carriers with ski jumps in the STOVL configuration. Present plans are to start flight trials of F-35Bs from 2018, with a carrier air wing fully operational by 2020. Major surface combatants. In October 2010, the Strategic Defense and Security Review saw decommissioning of the last 4 Type 22 frigates in service. The SDSR further planned to replace the remaining 13 Type 23 frigates from 2020 with a new Type 26 frigate. Since 2012, BAE Systems Naval Ships, at the request of the MOD, is under a 4-year contract to design the warship, known as the Global Combat Ship in export markets. It was formerly known as the Future Surface Combatant. The latest design for the Type 26 was revealed at the 2013 Defense Security and Equipment International Exhibition. Apart from the Type 45 destroyer recently entering service, the Type 23 makes up the majority of the Navy's escort fleet. 8 of the Type 23s have been refitted and equipped with a highly capable Type 2087 towed array sonar. The low-frequency sonar 2087 is described by its manufacturer as a towed array system that enables Type 23 frigates to hunt the latest submarines at considerable distances and locate them beyond the range at which submarines can launch an attack. Royal Navy Commander John Payne, commanding officer of HMS Sutherland, described the capability of the anti-submarine sonar 2087 as world-beating. This was during Exercise Auriga in 2010. Further upgrades to the Type 23 frigates include the planned Common Anti-Air Modular Missile, which will replace the Seawolf missile system starting in 2016. Like Seawolf, CAMM will be VLS launched and will offer a longer range of €1.25 plus a km compared to the range of €1.10 a km offered by the current Seawolf. The Type 23's medium-range radar is being replaced by the Type 997 Artisan 3D radar, with the first vessel, HMS Iron Duke, receiving its new radar in 2012 to 2013. The Artisan 3D radar will greatly improve the air defense, anti-surface and air traffic management capabilities of the Type 23 frigates. Mine Countermeasures, Hydrography and Patrol Capability Program. The Mine Countermeasures, Hydrography and Patrol Capability Program can trace its origins back to 2004 with the C-3 variant of the Future Surface Combatant. C-3 was envisioned as an initial class of 8 ships, each with a displacement of around 3,000 tons. They were to be required to fulfill a wide-range maritime commitments including mine countermeasures, hydrography, patrol, constabulary tasks, and being capable of participating in expeditionary task force operations. It was planned that the first 8 vessels would replace the Hunt-class and Sandown-class mine countermeasure vessels currently in service with the Royal Navy. Additional orders would have seen C-3 eventually replace the current Echo-class and River-class vessels too. Due to the large size and capabilities, C-3 would have complemented the Royal Navy's larger frigates and destroyers, especially with regards to maintaining standing Royal Navy deployments. In early 2010, C-3 was abandoned, and on March 12, 2010, HM government confirmed the existence of a new MHPC program with similar requirements to the original C-3 FSC. The Strategic Defense and Security Review of October 2010 stated that the existing Hunt-class and Sandown-class of mine countermeasure vessels will be replaced. The replacement vessels will use a common hull and modular design to support the modern mine countermeasure, hydrography and patrol requirements. In December 2010, an analyst suggested that current plans seem to point to a single class of vessel about 100 am in length and between 2,000 and 2,500 tons displacement. These will deliver on the MCM, survey and patrol requirements using a range of off-board systems like use for Euro 1 registered trademark S, WAVA Euro 1 registered trademark S and the Euro 1 registered trademark S. It was also said that any program would seek to replace the Hunt, Sandown, Echo and River classes currently in service. During June 2011, BAE Systems and Seabyte of Edinburgh, Scotland, signed a cooperation agreement to pursue business opportunities associated with the ECAR Euro 1 registered trademark S mine countermeasure, hydrography and patrol capability program. In January 2012, DSTL of the Ministry of Defence announced a program, in concept phase, with interests in the development of remote mine countermeasure and hydrography systems such as UAVs, USVs and UUVs. Such systems would offer unique capabilities and deliver elements of a wider MHPC program. In May 2012, shortly after the DSTL release, the Ministry of Defence published a joint concept note entitled Future Black Swan Class Sloop of War. The MOD publication outlined the future maritime needs and challenges of the Royal Navy and focused on the potentiality of the Royal Navy returning to large numbers sloops as a solution. It proposes a class of around 40 sloops of war, displacing 3,150 tons, a length of 95 metres and a low unit price of £65 million. The sloops would incorporate a modular design, including a mission bay for UAVs, USVs and UUVs during mine countermeasures and hydrography tasks, a large flight deck capable of accommodating a Boeing CH-47 Chinook-sized helicopter for disaster relief operations, and external module stowage for the ability to add and remove various offensive and defensive weapons when needed. The external module stowage is described as facilitating capability packages so that the sloop can be reconfigured for different roles when the need arises. Fixed weapons include a single 30mm gun, 2 miniguns and 2 GPMGs. For sea control or warfighting capability packages, the Black Swan class would be reconfigured with containerized missile modules for land attack, anti-ship and anti-air missiles in addition to the sloop's fixed weapons. A towed array sonar could also be fitted as well as directed energy weapons. The Black Swan class would have a core crew of 8 with additional crew added depending on the capability package. For example, in some configurations a crew of 40 would be required. Like the Black Swan class sloops of World War II, the current Black Swan class sloop of war concept is intended to combine various different classes of ships under one single class. This brings cost benefits, due to it being cheaper to operate and maintain a single fleet of one ship class rather than smaller fleets of numerous ship classes. In addition, reduced crew requirements would reduce manpower costs and training would see more standardization throughout the Navy. As of 2014, it is unclear exactly what specifications and type of ship the MHPC program will deliver, and whether or not the program is still active under the MHPC title. Ocean Patrol Vessels. In November 2013 it was announced that to sustain the shipbuilding base, 3 new Ocean Patrol vessels with Merlin-capable flight decks are to be delivered from 2017. It is yet to be decided if these will be replacing the 3 River-class patrol vessels or if they will be in addition to them. A deal worth £20 million was signed for them. These OPV will be much larger than the River-class OPVs and able to accommodate a Lynx Wildcat helicopter. Submarines. Fleet submarines. The modernization of the Royal Navy's submarine force centers on the Astute-class SSNs and the Swiftsure and Trafalgar Update final phase. In 1997, an order was placed for 3 units of the Astute class, which was designed as the SSN replacement for the Swiftsure class, with an option for a further 2. The 4th boat was ordered in 2007, with boats number 5 and 6 being authorized in April 2010. 8 boats were the official target until 2008. Now the MOD officially plans to acquire 7 Astute-class submarines. The Defense Industrial Strategy states that a 24-month build drumbeat is needed to maintain the long-term viability of the nuclear submarine building business in the UK. In the 2010 Strategic Defence and Security Review, the UK government reaffirmed its intention to procure 7 Astute-class submarines. Ballistic missile submarines. The program involves replacing the 4 Vanguard-class ballistic missile submarines with a new class designed to continue the nuclear deterrent after the current boats reach the end of their service lives. Aircraft, fixed-wing aircraft. The aircraft carrier's major instrument of power projection is the carrier air group. The larger the air group, the more tasks it can perform. The Invincible class, because of his small size, has only a limited capacity, and is only capable of operating STOVL aircraft, the Harrier GR7 per Grain 9. In 2006 the Sea Harrier was withdrawn from service. This saw the frontline Sea Harrier squadron of the Fleet Air Arm converting to the Harrier GR9, as part of the evolution of the Joint Force Harrier concept. The Harrier's eventual replacement in both the RAF and the FAA is the F-35 Lightning II Joint Combat Aircraft. The F-35 will be a significant improvement over the Harrier, in terms of speed, range and weapon load. The UK had plans to order 138 F-35Bs for the Royal Navy and Royal Air Force. The financial crisis led to the decision taken in the Strategic Defence and Security Review to immediately withdraw the Harrier GR9 force in late 2010 along with HMS Ark Royal, to reduce the total number of F-35s planned for purchase by the UK, and to purchase the F-35C Cat-Obar version rather than the STOVL F-35B. By May 2012, the government had decided to purchase the short takeoff version, the F-35B instead. In July 2012, the Secretary of State for Defense stated that an initial 48 F-35Bs will be purchased to equip the carrier fleet. In September 2013, it was announced that the 2nd JSF Squadron would be the Fleet Air Arm's 809 NAS helicopters. The 2010 Strategic Defense and Security Review states that the Royal Navy will operate two types of helicopter in the future, the AW101 Merlin and the AW159 Lynx Wildcat. The anti-surface anti-submarine mission remains the purview of rotary aircraft. In small ships this is the updated Mk8 version of the Lynx. The Future Lynx program has seen 28 of the new helicopters, baptized the AW159 Lynx Wildcat, ordered for the Royal Navy. However, in the carriers and in later frigates, the larger and more capable Merlin anti-submarine warfare helicopter is used. There are 38 Merlin helicopters in service, and an upgrade plan intended to increase their flexibility of use until 2029 is planned. In late 2009 it was announced that the Fleet Air Arm would lose its remaining Sea King HC-4 helicopters, their place being taken by Merlins upgraded and transferred from the Royal Air Force. The future AW capability of the FAA is the Crows program, which intended to replace the current Sea King ASAC-7 fleet due to retire in 2016. Current plans will see Crows enter service in 2022 acting as a roll-on roll-off fit for the FAA's Merlin HM2 helicopters. The 6-year capability gap between the retirement of the Sea King ASAC-7 fleet and the entry service of Crows has been the source of much criticism. A recent PAC report, however, has revealed the main gate decision for the Crows to be around 2017. Crows will be operational by 2019. Missiles, lightweight multi-role missile. A short-range, supersonic anti-ship missile for use against small surface warships, patrol vessels and craft. The missile is due to enter service around 2015 and be deployed on the Fleet Air Arm's new Lynx Wildcat maritime helicopters. Deliveries start in 2013. In 2014, funding was secured for a longer-range air-launched anti-ship missile presently known as Future Anti-Surface Guided Weapon. Perseus is a supersonic cruise missile under development by MBDA along with the UK and France. The Royal Marines Viking vehicles have been undergoing an upgrade by BAE Systems in Sweden since 2012. Royal Fleet Auxiliary, 4 Tide-class tankers have been ordered, which will replace the remaining Leaf and Rover vessels of the Royal Fleet Auxiliary. They will be built in South Korea and fitted out in the United Kingdom. The first is expected to enter service in 2016. See also: Future of the Royal Air Force, Future of the British Army, references. External links: Royal Navy, Future Ships, Type 26 Global Combat Ship, Royal Navy, Future Ships, Aircraft Carrier, Royal Navy, Future Aircraft, F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, Royal Navy Aircraft Carrier Strike.